Well, I'm fairly new to this field, so, but, I can't say, you have to see them
Okay,
I really can't.
you're still looking.
I'm still looking, if I haven't met that one yet.
Okay,
You know, so.
okay. Good, good, keep looking.
Selfish and pessimistic.
Selfish and pessimistic. Say more.
So I believe everybody's a product of their environment. So in one where you have a family structure or a set structure, and then you have one of faith compiled with that, and then your outlook on life and how bad things get, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel is something that you perceive. You know, you have that ability versus, you know, pessimistic people who, you know, look at the jar halfway empty versus halfway full. And selfish in the fact that, you know, you're from a big family, you tend to be selfless in certain instances. So that's why.
Okay.
So let me add a little piece to this, because kind of how this works. Whatever is in any of us is in each one of us to one degree or another. Okay? The things that we dislike about certain clients or other people are things that remind us of a part of ourselves that we haven't made peace with. I remember when I used to have problems with clients who wanted to chill, you know.
I want to chill.
Who just wanted to chill, you know, just wanted to...
Be lazy.
Yeah, that was the word.
Right.
That was also the word they used to call me all the time when I was a kid. Right, you know.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was my issue, and I had to do something with it in order to appreciate them in a different way, to reframe that, because they tapped into my issue. Does that make sense?
So the lesson that we're offering here, and I think it might be helpful if we tie it together now as we share, is what in you, from what you just shared earlier about your cultural orientation and how you grew up, what do you think in you is being activated with issues when you have difficulty with clients? What cultural dynamic, cultural learning, cultural belief, cultural assumption is present when you find yourself struggling with a client? What learning from the way you grew up, from some group you identified with, or some belief you had, is operating, what might be operating in your struggle with clients?
I would go as far back as saying, again, if matters are unresolved.
Okay.
You see, and then when somebody taps into your reference points of experiences, and you have yet to resolve that matter,
Okay.
Okay.
And
it
what
becomes difficult.
and what kind of feeling does that bring up in you?
An overwhelming feeling.
Being overwhelmed or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Feel unsuccessful?
Yeah, right.
Or
Yeah.
feel anxious?
Yeah.
So did you share the difficulty, the clients that you have, which issues that your clients have that create difficulty for you? Is one of these yours?
No, man.
Okay, so which issues the clients can have that?
I would go along with Sean spoke about the elderly,
Okay.
with those that think that you have nothing to offer in such a way. So,
Okay.
So they're really asking the question, they're really challenging your competence.
right, absolutely.
And
But
anybody here don't have a little voice to say, am I really competent?
Yeah.
Anybody don't question that at times in some way?
I always
So when somebody pushes that,
yeah.
they activate that, what you call it, that unresolved issue.
Yeah, it might be all matter. But just like I was saying, I'll be a little more craftier in my approach and in finding just common ground.
Gotcha. That's how you get that back.
Right.
Okay, now, push yourself a little forward. Tell me what, from what you shared earlier about the cultural groups that you grew up in, what belief, assumption, practice might be operating that caused you to have difficulty working with someone who thinks you have nothing to offer?
I find it challenging. I don't find it difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It just, because it heightens my awareness on some things.
Okay.
So I continue to investigate where I've been at.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't, sometimes a lot of times I leave it like an open end conversation, room for him to respond or the individual to respond.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Pushing you hard.
Yes.
Think about the cultural groups that you identified yourself as being a member of. Is there anything that might be, you said, unresolved, that might be surfacing as you address your work with this particular client's issues?
Well, again, I would go back to the unresolved matter of always being disciplined by my elder.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So then, just like I say, the challenging part for me is that you're not going to do this to me today.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say, so what I'm hearing you say is, when that kicks in, you're not doing vulnerability, because I'm not going to be taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So elders had power in your group, right? Is
That
that what I'm hearing? Elders had power in the group, in your family group?
Absolutely.
So when you experience an elder, you experience this as someone having power.
Right.
And so you have to negotiate from that place of this is someone who has power. Whatever you do with it, it seems to me that it comes up for you that this is someone who has power in my life. And so I have to do something with this because they have some power in my life.
But I'm keeping it respectful though.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? 'Cause
Absolutely.
my mom, she's an assistant minister at a church out in New Britain. So when I made the decision to begin to practice Islam in such a way, the inquiries from her to myself and the respect that I have for my mom was kind of like, challenging, and you don't want to come across to your parents
Yes.
disrespectful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the issue becomes how you deal with it
Right.
when you get to that issue.
Exactly.
How do you communicate? How do you confront?
And
how
this
do
is
you
a
challenge?
woman that disciplined me thoroughly.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I don't get, outside of myself and too fresh out my mouth with it.
Absolutely. And of course, just like the rest of us, there's some, you want to get Freudian transference and all of that kind of transfer. When we're dealing with others, we have the same experience as those representatives in our lives, in the groups we grew up in. So it's all present. Yes.
I need help breaking down mine because
Sex
I don't know
offenders.
why I feel
Selfish
like
and pat and
sex offenders.
Oh, sex offenders.
Let me help you.
I need help
Let me help
because I've never been abused.
Well, what I'm hearing though from you is one reason you said you had difficulty with them because you don't think they can be rehabilitated, changed.
So, I'm sorry, Henry, go ahead.
I'm wondering if there's a part of you that you think cannot be changed.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, again, the storyline is not so much of the issue. The process is about you're not thinking, you're thinking that part of this I can't do anything with. So when I can't do anything, I just stay away from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's difficult.
Into the couch.
So it seems like it's a conclusion that it's difficult for you to work with someone when you feel helpless, like you can't help them. And you feel helpless when you're working with a sex offender, that you don't believe that there can be help. Or you also refrain to say you don't know how to help. We don't know how to.
So that's the key. When we get to those feelings come up. Unsuccessful, helpless, incompetent. And so we tend to try to move away from those rather than approach them. Avoidance is a primary coping mechanism in our society. And that's what we try to do. And that means we don't learn how to connect with them and what the commonality is.
Because it was a very powerful thing I noticed when we're talking about ourselves as helpless rather than talking about clients. So we're not talking about sex offenders, we're talking about ourselves. What's going on with us? Because we signed up to help. So if we have a person who is identified or charged with a sex offender, we sign up to help them. We sign, how do we sign up to help people? It's called go to the bank and deposit that check. So we sign up to help them, so there's something going on with us with that. We sign up because we're serious and because we want to help. So it's very helpful to look at ourselves as helpful. How are we doing with that? How am I doing with helping? I signed up to help. How am I doing with helping this person? Because I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that the person has a right to be helped. They have a right to be helped because we're all signing up saying we'll help them. So they have a right to be helped. How am I feeling about this person, how I'm addressing this person's right to be helped. Can I do it or can't do it? Because once you get there, then you get some help with it. You can go to somebody and say, hey, this is my area that I'm stuck. You can be there, you can be that clear, you can get some help with it. Again, you always know what you're doing.
I was just saying that I really came with that. I just feel like I'll be doing a client a disservice. Like, my bias is way too, I have moved forward with it because with school social work, I actually was doing a group and I was working for this young guy for a while in a few groups, and then once I looked through his chart again, I was like, oh, okay. And it let me know that it's doable, but I wasn't knowledgeable of what his prior history was. And once I still continued to work with him after that, but it was always kind of in the back of my mind, like, I just feel like I can't, we can talk about other things, we can talk about his grades, but I can't help you process that. Because I don't have anything, to me, in my opinion, I don't have anything valuable to give you that could.
You know what I like about what you said? You said, my bias. We all have biases, we all have preferences. If you know what your bias is, then you're not putting that on the client. It's not about him, it's about me. Absolutely. I need to get some more supervision, training, I need to grow through my emotions or whatever. But you're owning it as your issue, not his issue.
Right. And you're saying, I'm taking off the Superman to Superwoman case. I am not saying that I can do everything and I can help everybody with everything. So I'm respecting the client's right to have help by saying, I don't think I can do this. Because once you move yourself out of the way, it's helpful. Because again, as long as you're signing, as long as you're taking that case and going out in the field, you're signing up to help. But when you say to your supervisor, I'm struggling with this to the point that I think the client is not being served, then you move yourself off so that somebody can get on that. You can assist that client. That's all that is required.
Or you just
Say again?
I said, I'm making a recommendation. I can refer you to someone else.
Well, I'm training your supervisor, that's no end.
Exactly. Sometimes when we have these certain biases,
In that group, I cannot,
It's difficult.
it's very difficult. Because I was always taught, no one touches you down, like, no one violates that space.
So that was one of your belief systems, your foundational assumptions. So at some level, you have to do something with that in order to.
Well, I actually teach it to my own daughter. No one violates that,
Well, I'm saying what you might do with it is just add to it and say, this is a way that I am reducing the likelihood that that can happen by helping this person. And you're trying to get into something.
I don't think they can be helped. That's the thing. I don't think they will change. I think it's a really illness. I watch a lot of the ID channel. And those are real stories.
You know,
I hear you.
They
I hear
just
you.
don't change.
you are very honest with yourself,
Yes.
and you are a very serious professional and helper. And so you are not willing to be doing things with people that you are not ready for. So I am convinced that you will continue to work on this, and you will get yourself ready so that you can be able to serve. And that now, at the point that you will say to those who are supervising you what you can do and what you are not ready to do.
Yes, ma'am.
You see what she did? She just created the possibility that you might change.
I'm always open.
Okay.
I'm hopeful that I can, but right at this point in my life,
Gotcha. That's clear.
honestly.
Okay?
Gotcha.
I had a thought, I kind of lost it, but I think I heard recently that like the emotion of disgust is very natural and it keeps us safe. And it's a form of avoidance. So like you were saying, we become disgusted by things because, you know, naturally through evolution it's kept us safe. So whether it's bad food or, you know, a criminal or a danger, it keeps us safe. So that's very adaptive. But I think understanding, getting back to what you are trying to avoid is something. And I think when it comes to the topic of sex, I think sexual issues like you were talking about, like that girl has a very strong emotion. Or with sex offenders, I think knowing that if sexual issues do cause you disgust, trying to process that and figure that out, because I think it is really important because these issues are going to continue to come up.
That's when life is. If something comes up, it keeps coming up until we deal with it.
Yeah.
The other point, I want to add what you said. Negative emotions are just that. The function of them is to warn us, to say there's a threat, something's out of order, That's their job. So they're useful that way. But positive emotions are what helps to build us up, increase our brain functioning, our immune system, helps us to be calmer, feel more confident, and be more confident. That's what helps us to grow. So one is to keep away stuff, helps us to recognize stuff that we need to do something with, and the other is a growth promoter. Just think about it in terms of parenting, for those of you who may have children. You know, a negative emotion you might do if your child's going to run in the street. Fear, and you say, stop, okay? But that won't help the child to grow. You have to give them positive emotion, love, nurturing, warmth for them to grow. Show them how.
Yeah, I remember my grandson first ran in the street, my first emotion, snapped him. And I told him, no, I ain't need to do that, wait a minute, let me show you.
Yes.
And then now we look at the street like, go